Hi, thanks for tuning in. Susan here, obviously. It's the 7th of February 25, and it's just after 4 o'clock in the afternoon UK time. And I think what's surprising me today is that I'm still seeing on folks' YouTube videos and on Twitter from the UK comments and so on and so forth, people who are very, very anti Trump. And there's still, the one I saw today was obviously Trump's talking about fixing the Gaza Strip. And this was a video mocking the idea of Trump fixing the Gaza Strip. Um, and obviously, when you look at what United States Agency for international development have been paying out money to, you can see that they've paid out money to the BBC, maybe even certain areas of the BBC, but the BBC nonetheless, and they've paid out money to various news agents, Reuters. I was amazed to see George Soros has had over $200 million from a supposed United States International Development Fund. The celebrities have had a huge amount of money and so on and so forth. But the point I'm trying to make here is that under a previous administration, a huge amount of money went out to deliberately skewing the narrative. And I suppose folk in the States are actually seeing the differences that Trump has made even in the last 3 weeks since his inauguration. But in this country, just as a for instance, my daughter and granddaughter, they put the telly on when they're getting ready for school and work in the morning, and it's the BBC's children's news round, they call it. So it's news program aimed at children. And I was asking, because I don't watch the BBC, I don't watch any television at all. And I was asking her what they were talking about. What were the headlines? What were they saying to children these days? And the one thing that she did remember was the bullying that Trump was doing by setting tariffs on Canada and Mexico and other countries. And I said, did they tell you why he was setting tariffs or give you any background as to whether? And she said, no, they don't go into detail in the children's program. They just say that Trump is now setting tariffs on imports from these countries. Um, and I said to her, do you realise that what he's done is he said, we haven't set tariffs, but we will set tariffs if in Mexico you don't control the drug cartels moving drugs into America. And B, in Canada, if you don't stop the flow of fentanyl over your border into the States, then we will set tariffs on imports. And both of these countries have reported 10,000 extra troops on their borders trying to control illegal movement of harmful drugs in the United States. So the final decision as to whether tariffs are going to be imposed or not has not yet been made. And this took her by surprise. But then I'm seeing, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, another anti Trump video mocking the idea that he could fix the Gaza Strip. Well, if Rothschild, under the Balfour Declaration, well, pushed for Palestine and uh, so on there in the first place and got it set up just in the 20th century, early 20th century, well, nearer the first half of the 20th century, then somebody can come along and fix it. Um, so under negotiation and so on and so forth. But the interesting thing is that everything that has been done um, in America, the fact that they've opened up where the US aid function has gone, finance has gone, they have put water into reservoirs in California. They've helped prevent illegal movement across their top and bottom borders. Um, they've found out how much money has gone missing to Ukraine. Um, they've negotiating with Ukraine about getting rare minerals from there because of all the money that they've already had for nothing. Um, the amount that has happened in the time in that 3 weeks could not just have happened in 3 weeks. So obviously there's been a lot of negotiation, a lot of movement towards this, that he's literally just been signing off this big stack of documents that very first night that after the inauguration. So point I'm trying to make is that with the narrative still being skewed, the folk in this country are just not seeing what's happening. But we are seeing what's wrong in this country. And my fingers are crossed in the hope that we eventually see the positive things that are happening in the States. And through negotiation or people pressure or whatever it happens to be, these changes, like DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, we can start getting value for our money in this country, because at the moment, we're just not. We're, you know, we pay our council tax, for instance. We've got no say in what happens to that money. They don't even need to tell us what they're doing with that money. And if you don't pay it, you go to court, even though you don't know what you're giving the money for. It's some vague notion about education and social work, but it's a vague notion, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm hoping that folk in this country will be able to start seeing what can be done with a positive leader. Not just a leader, by the way. There's a whole team behind him. It's not one man. He's a front for what's happening. But good on him. He's turning things around in America. And I would very much like to see a turnaround here. That was a bit of a rant. Nothing very positive there, was there? Well, there is. One of the biggest countries in the world is making a turnaround. He's re-employing the servicemen and women who were sacked because they didn't. He's bringing them back in again, and so there's a lot of positive things happening. And let's just hope this is it, flown across the pond, and it might take some time, but we're getting there. And hope is our best tool. Undoubtedly, hope is our best tool. So please see the positive in this. Don't accept the mocking memes. Orange man bad. No. We're getting there. He's a front man, don't forget. And we need to look at the positive, and things are definitely looking up. So please, thanks for looking in, but live, love, and most of all, be happy.